Thank you for joining us on Aso Briefing today. I am Joy Annie. Let's begin with the headlines. FCT Minister, Area Council polls. FCT Minister declares work-free Friday, restricts movement. Independent National Electoral Commission set for first major exercise on the newly signed Electoral Act 2026. FG MBAs to strictly comply with Procurement Act in 2025-2026 budget implementation. And in sport, FIFA releases annual report without verdict on Nigeria's petition. You're watching Aso Briefing. We're live on DSTV channel 392, also on StarTimes TV channel 127 and FreeTV channel 507. We're also on the UHF band on channel 38. Now to begin with all our stories. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Aso Briefing, has declared Friday, February 20, 2026, a work-free day ahead of the Saturday Area Council elections in the FCT. Briefing also announced a restriction of movement across the territory from 8 p.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. on Saturday, February 21st. He said the directive followed the approval of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The minister made the announcement in special broadcast on national television and radio station on Thursday, urging residents to come out in large numbers to vote for candidates of their choice. He called on voters to conduct themselves peacefully and in accordance with the law, stressing the need to respect electoral rules and the outcome of the polls. He also expressed appreciation to the President for signing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 into law, describing it as a demonstration of commitment to strengthening democratic institutions and ensuring credible elections in the FCT. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set for its first major exercise under the newly signed Electoral Act 2026 this Saturday. The Commission will conduct the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections alongside key by-elections in Rivers and Kano State in what observers see as a limitless test for the legal and new framework recently assented to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The INEC Chairman, Professor Duraz Amiputa, and said the FCT elections will be conducted in the line with the provisions of the new Electoral Act. Now on the way to the chamber now, the Senate has called for provision of special funding for Federal Ministry of Environment to tackle erosion, flooding and other environmental challenges across the country. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Environment, Senator Olubiyi Fadeyi, made a call when the ministry officials appeared to defend the 2026 budget of the ministry on Thursday. Fadeyi said fund appropriated annually to the ministry and its agencies was very inadequate to tackle the environmental issues. He listed the issues that required urgent attention to include environmental management, erosion control, environmental health, forest protection, and other forms of environmental degradation. Others are pollution and drainage migration, as well as coastal flood mitigation. He stressed the need for ensuring release of appropriated funds for the discharge of the mandates of the election. Now, the ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives investigating power sector reforms and expenditures from 2006 to 2024 has condemned what he described as a discriminatory electricity distribution policy allegedly being implemented by the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, ADC. The committee expressed concern over claims that the company allocates approximately 80% of its electricity supply to the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, while the remaining 20% is shared among Kogi, Niger, and Nasarawa states within its franchise area. Members of the committee, being chaired by Mr. Mustafa Aliyu, made their position known during an oversight visit to the corporate headquarters of the distribution company in Abuja as part of ongoing probe into the performance of power sector operators and the utilization of intervention funds since the 2005 unbundling and subsequent privatization of the sector. This by the National Assembly. The lawmakers described the alleged 80-20 distribution model as unfair and economically damaging to the affected states, noting that citizens and businesses in Kogi, Niger and Nasarawa have consistently complained of prolonged outages, low supply and poor service delivery. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Liu, stressed that every state within a distribution company's coverage areas deserves equitable treatment and that electricity supply should not be determined solely by revenue considerations, especially in a sector that has been benefited from substantial public funding and federal intervention. Managing Director of AEDC, Mr. Chijioke Okokenyi, however, denied any deliberate discriminatory intent and acknowledged disparities in supply. He attributed the distribution pattern to operational and commercial realities, including high levels of energy theft in some states, weak infrastructure and network limitations, low revenue recovery rates, and mounting debt owed by customers. The committee also queried AEDC over loans and intervention funds reportedly obtained from the federal capital and the federal government following the privatization of the power sector 13 years ago, and further instructed ADC to repair alongside the Transmission Company of Nigeria to clarify issues concerning bulk power allocation, transmission constraint, and the interplay between both entities in the distribution chain. Away to Kebbi now, the Kebbi State Police Command has reinforced security in the Bui district of Arawa local government area following a deadly armed cattle rustling incident that left over 30 people dead. In a statement issued on Thursday, the Police Public Relations Officer SP Bashir Usman said additional personnel and operational assets had been deployed to the affected communities in collaboration with the military and other security agencies. He said sustained area domination patrols were ongoing and to stabilize the district and prevent further violence. According to the police, preliminary investigations revealed that suspected Lakurawa militant entered Bui district on February 18 to rustle cattle. Residents from Humunu, Awasaka, and other close local government areas reportedly mobilized in response, leading to a fatal confrontation. The police emphasized that incidents involving heavily armed criminal elements require coordinated security intervention and warned residents against directly engaging such groups. Meanwhile, other reports indicated that at least 34 people were feared killed when gunmen swept through several communities in Arawa local government coordinated daylight attack, triggering a panic across the wider Kebbi North senatorial district. Security forces have soon launched targeted operations to track and apprehend the perpetrators, block escape routes, and strengthen early warning mechanisms. The command urged residents to remain calm and cooperate with security agencies as effort intensified to restore lasting peace in the troubled communities. Now, the city of Abuja has been selected to hoist the biggest flag in Africa. The proposed flag hoisting event was disclosed to the media when a delegation from the Rotary International, led by Rotarian Caroline Acheng Mora, paid a collaborative visit to the management of Abuja Broadcasting Corporation on its Katampe Hill premises just recently. Here is the report.
According to Rotarian Caroline Mora, the proposed event is essentially a symbolic gesture to mark World Polio Day, celebrating Nigeria's polio-free status, again widely attributed to Rotary International's efforts in combating the disease.
The idea behind this gesture is to bring awareness to the End Polio campaign. Polio is the biggest project that Rotary International has, and polio is a disease that has existed throughout the world and is now only found in 2 countries, Afghanistan and India. However, even though this may seem like countries that are far away, polio anywhere is polio everywhere. We need to be sure that this is a disease that is eradicated throughout the world.
Rotarian Tumishe Adekpoju, also a member of the Rotary Club delegation, gave specifics with regards to the proposed event.
The mass is very strategic. The location, this is more like the center of Abuja. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. So that's why we have chosen the mast to actually host the flag. So we're looking at, because the largest so far that was flown was about 3,000 square meters. So we're looking at 4,000 square meters. That's what we're estimating.
The acting managing director of Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, Mr. Akin Ajibola, expressed happiness for the collaboration, highlighting the significance of hosting the event at Aso Radio and Television premises. He emphasized ABC's willingness to engage in future mutually beneficial partnerships, aligning with the FCT Minister's vision on public healthcare sensitization, a collaboration which aims to raise awareness about polio demonstrates ABC's commitment to its corporate social responsibilities.
The hosting of the flag by Rotary it will not be a new thing to Aso Television Services. Already we have been actively participating in the eradication of polio campaign across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. You know, recently the FCT Minister of State just launched the second round of polio campaign eradication in all the 6 area councils. We were part of it. Aso Radio was their key partner. It was trying to encourage the people in the community to see the need for them to take the advantage of the campaign so as to ensure the reduction in the spread of polio.
The proposed flag hosting event is expected to draw attention to the importance of continued vigilance against polio and other health challenges. Daniel Obi, Aso Television News.
We'll take a pause now, and when we return, business and more stories. Do stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind on it, live the life that you remember.
Stay connected. Stay with us, starting from Yanga and Jolly.
You're watching Aso Briefing. We are live on DSTV channel 392, also on StarTimes TV channel 127, and for TV channel 507. We're also on the UHF band on channel 38. Now to the rest of our stories. The Chief of Defense Staff General Olufemi Oluyede formally launched the Joint Task Force North Central Operation Savannah Shield at 22 Brigade, Sobi Military Cantonment in Kwara State. In a statement by Major General Samilia Uba, Director of Defense Information, the CDS said the intelligence-driven operation is mandated to dismantle terrorist networks, kidnapping syndicates, and other criminal groups operating in Kwara State and parts of Niger State. He stressed that the operation is a deliberate and coordinated offensive aimed at denying criminals freedom of action and consolidating existing security gains. General Oluyede affirmed that the armed forces of Nigeria are prepared to dominate the operational environment, secure critical agricultural areas, and protect lives and property. He warned that forest hideouts and ungoverned spaces will no longer serve as safe haven, as troops will carry out sustained clearance and stabilization missions. He also highlighted strengthening the interagency's collaboration and urged traditional rulers, youth leaders, and community members to provide timely intelligence. The theater commander, Major General Yakubu Yahya, will oversee operations within the joint operational area. Kwara State Governor Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak described the deployment as timely and strategic, citing rising attacks in Kwara North and border communities with Niger State. He thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the swift intervention and expressed confidence that the operation would restore peace and boost socio-economic recovery. Now, troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hayden K, in collaboration with local vigilantes and hunters, have sustained offensive operations against Boko Haram elements in Adamawa and Borno State. Lieutenant Colonel Sami Uba, Media Information Officer, Headquarters, Operation Hayden K, said troops of Sector 4 under the 28th Task Force Brigade arrested a 28-year-old terrorist logistics supplier, Ismail Muhammad, in the Visik General Area of Hong Local Government Area, Adamawa State. Recovered from the suspect were an AK-47 magazine, rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition, military accoutrements, and assorted food items. He is currently in custody for further investigation. In a separate operation in Madagali Local Government Area, Sector 4 troops neutralized a terrorist commander, Abdullahi Mafa, during an ambush along the Visik River line. An AK-47 rifle and a loaded magazine were recovered. Acting on follow-up intelligence, troops also arrested 64-year-old Dauda Usman Gubula at Madagali Motor Park for allegedly supplying drones to terrorists. Items recovered included 2 aerial drones, related accessories, and 20 solar power banks. Meanwhile, in Sector 2, troops working with vigilantes and the Civilian Joint Task Force repelled insurgent activities in Ngandu, Borno State, and neutralized a terrorist informant attempting to infiltrate this defensive position. Additional logistics items were recovered. Military authorities said that the operations form part of ongoing efforts to dismantle insurgent supply network, restore security, and protect communities across the Northeast. Meanwhile, the federal government has advanced plans for the establishment of the Armed Forces College of Medicine and Health Sciences as a strategic national intervention to strengthen military healthcare services, address critical manpower shortages within the armed forces, and expand Nigeria's overall medical training capacity. The initiative was progressed at a high-level meeting convened by the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tijani Tunji Alausa, and the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Swaba Said Ahmed, with the Minister of Defense, Christopher Gwabin Musa, the Honorable Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawale, and the Director General of the Ministry of Defense Head Implementation Program, the leadership of the Nigerian Defense Academy, and key stakeholders across the education, defense, and health sectors. In line with the NASII 6-point agenda, particularly the focus on strengthening the STEM, the minister emphasized that the proposed college represents a deliberate effort to build a structured and sustainable pipeline of combat casualty trained doctors, surgeons, trauma specialists, emergency response medics, military public health professionals, disaster and humanitarian response professionals, and allied health professionals. Dr. Lawson noted that while the nation's population exceeds 240 million, only 189 medical personnel currently serve within the defense forces. He further highlighted Nigeria's border deficit of approximately 340,000 doctors, stressing the urgent need for scalable and innovative training models. Now, as part of ongoing reforms, the Federal Ministry of Education has doubled annual medical school admissions from about 5,000 to nearly 10,000, with projections to increase to approximately 19,000 annually in the coming years. Now, this forms a critical component of this expansion strategy. The Federal Ministry of Education reaffirmed its commitment to working closely with defense and regulatory partners to deliver these critical initiatives in strict compliance with national standards and global best practices. In a series of bilateral meetings, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Bianca Odumegwu-Ojukwu, advanced strategic cooperation with both European and African partners, receiving the ambassadors of Spain and Kenya in separate audiences. The engagement with Spain focused on deepening existing partnership in security, legal affairs, and economic discussion. Other discussions centered on finalizing an extradition treaty, enhancing counter-terrorism tourism collaboration and expanding Spanish investment in Nigeria's energy and digital sector. Both sides also committed to improving immigration governance and strengthening cultural ties. Simultaneously, talks with Kenya emphasized revitalizing African partnership under the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AfCFTA, as mutual commitment to reactivate the dormant Nigeria-Kenya Joint Commission for Cooperation to boost trade, fintech, and agricultural ties. Both nations also agreed to enhance collaboration on migration management and combating human trafficking. Now, according to a statement from the ministry spokesperson, Kemibi Obienfa, Nigeria's active democratic and diplomatic agenda is aimed at fostering structured economic and security cooperation with both traditional and regional partners to drive shared prosperity and address common challenges. Now, the federal government has ordered the ministries, departments and agencies, the MDAs, to strictly comply with the provisions of the Public Procurement Act in the 2025-2026 implementation and payment of the capital budget. Minister of State for Finance, Mrs. Doris Uzoka-Nete in Abuja, made this known during a stakeholders meeting on the implementation of the extended 2025 capital budget held at the Federal Ministry. A statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations to the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Bawa Mokwa, disclosed the minister stressed that all capital payment must fully comply with the principles of the Procurement Act. The minister emphasized that no capital project would or should be executed without confirmed cash backing, and warning that no payment would be processed outside approved procurement procedures. Dr. Uzoka-Nete further assured stakeholders that adequate funds are available to clear outstanding obligations, urging MDAs to review and update their documentation to facilitate prompt processing of payments. In his remarks, Accountant General of the Federation, the AGF, Dr. Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi, affirmed that the government integrated financial management information system platform has been fully restored and is now operational. The AGF explained that 30% of the 2025 capital budget will be implemented between now and 31st November 2026, while the remaining 70% has been rolled over into the 2026 capital budget to ensure seamless execution in line with the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Still on business, the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa Musawa, has expressed more commitment to transforming culture into tangible asset towards national growth and development. The Minister in Abuja, during the book launch on culture and tourism, acknowledged that turning culture into tangible asset makes the country grow, while commending the author of the book, Mr. Gaston Obuluja, for a comprehensive ideas capable of translating culture and tourism to wealth. Our business correspondent will bring that report in a subsequent bulletin. Now, on sport flash uncertainties has concluded Nigeria's 2026 World Cup ambitions after FIFA released its 2025 CAS and Football Annual Report without any reference to Nigeria's petition against DR Congo. The publication has heightened anxiety among Nigerian football fans, with the Nigerian Football Federation still awaiting a ruling on its complaint, alleging that DR Congo fielded ineligible players during the African Player Final for the 2026 World Cup. Nigeria launched the protest on December 15, 2025, following the Super Eagles' painful exit after a 4-3 penalty shootout defeat to DR Congo in Rabat last November. The loss dashed Nigeria's hopes of advancing directly to the Intercontinental Playoffs for the 2026 tournament in North America. Although there were expectations that a decision might emerge in mid-February after a scheduled Ethics Committee meeting, FIFA latest report made no mention of the Nigeria-DR Congo dispute. Instead, the document heightened that the border role of football in global arbitration, revealing that 77% of cases registered with the Court of Arbitration for Sport in 2025 were football-related. For Nigerian supporters, however, the statistics provide little comfort. With no official timeline for a verdict, uncertainty continues to dominate discussions surrounding the Super Eagles World Cup fate. Meanwhile, Chairman of the National Sport Commission, the NSC, Malam Shehu Diko, confirmed that no final decision has been communicated. Speaking to the State House correspondent, after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on February 19, 2026, Malam Diko dismissed reports suggesting that a ruling had been reached. According to him, as of the date, Nigeria had not received any official communication from FIFA regarding the matter. But that's much we can take on Aso Briefing today. Many thanks for watching. I am Joy and good afternoon.